Hey everybody, Brett Buffington here in the KHOU 11 newsroom. Happy Friday night to all of you. Thanks for joining us here on this late night digital update with the stories we're working on for KHOU 11 News at 10 and the big stories that have happened throughout the day. And the first one we're going to talk to is my friend Lauren Tallarico, who had a big story last night at 10, and it has been a conversation on digital all day.
All day, and we have a very good update for this Friday night, which is, of course, it's always good to have an update, especially when it's a Friday night, a good update. So the story was about Greg Lehner. He was a man who lives in Lamarck, but he had taken his grandkids to karate class in Dickinson, and somebody stole his car, his truck actually, and his dog was in the back seat. His dog named Maximilian. Max, he's a shepherd husky mix, beautiful dog, been in the family for 6.5 years. And Greg was just devastated. First of all, he felt really foolish, because he left the keys in the truck, and people kept saying, well, he left the keys in the truck, what do you expect? He knows. He wishes he could, he said, going back, 20/20 hindsight, right? But, so last night, just before the newscast, we found out that the truck was found. They found the truck kind of near Hobby Airport, so which is pretty far from Lamarck, right?
Right.
And then, today, he called me and said, I just got a phone call from 2 homeless gentlemen who rescued Max last night from the car because he was just sitting in this stolen car.
Right.
And then when they finally got a cell phone, so they had Max since last night, they didn't have a cell phone. When they finally got a phone, they called the tag and they said, I think we have your dog.
It was really funny. Your plea at the end of your live shot last night was, please take him to a vet, take him to an animal shelter so they can scan him. I guess the guy forgot his number was on his collar.
Well, here's the thing. He said
I was going to show, we were showing the picture of Max just now too. I want people to see it.
Oh, yeah.
That's him on your screen and Lauren's tweet from last night, pleading for someone to say, oh, by the way.
And can I just tell you how awesome the people in Houston are? Because I got so many messages. Is this Max? Is this Max? I kept saying, oh, no, I think his nose is black. That dog's nose is pink. So I've been responding to people since last night. So the good news is I know a lot of people were trying to help him get his dog
worried
back.
about Max.
Back home.
Hope
and
hope
we were
that they don't
there
mistreat him.
this evening.
Hopefully
the
person who took it had no idea he was there, and maybe now he's just wondering what to do with him.
Up at 10 o'clock.
All I want him to do is
I know. And
take him somewhere where they can get him back to me. He's got a chip, he's got a tag on his collar.
This dog is his buddy, his companion. They're attached to the hip. He said, when he wakes up, he's there. When he goes to lunch, he's there. He takes his dog everywhere. It's always in the car with him. And then, of course, when he goes to bed, the dog is right next to him. So for the first time last night in 6.5 years, Max's dog bed was empty. And if you have a dog, they are part of your family. This is not just, it's a big deal when someone steals your dog. So.
And he got his car back, only missing a radio.
Missing a radio. Got his truck back, but he said yesterday, I don't care about the truck. I just want my dog back. So
that's so awesome.
I know, isn't that a great news update?
I love it that we were talking about this just at dinner, like an hour ago.
Yes.
And it's happened since then.
I know. He called. He was so excited. So I'm so happy you let us know.
So coming up tonight on KHOU 11 News at 10, we'll have the interview with the people who found him. Yes. And are responsible for getting this man his dog back.
Yeah, very cool.
I was like missing the pieces of family.
I know. Oh, 100%. Yeah, he was devastated. And yesterday I was with him and I just kept saying, listen, people pick up dogs all the time. I've rescued so many dogs. I know a lot of my colleagues and friends have, so don't worry. But I was kind of in the back of my head hoping, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not giving this guy false hope. But we didn't. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Such a great update to your story. Lauren, thanks. I know you have to go back and do some more work on your story for 10. All right, everybody, back with you again by myself, so bear with me. But the next story I'm going to tell you about is absolutely heartbreaking, and I want to show you the video of what happened first. This was in New Orleans earlier this evening, or this afternoon, I should say. This plane crash happened just outside, if you're familiar with New Orleans, just outside of the Lakefront Airport. And this is 2 people on this plane. We reported earlier, and it's on KHOU.com right now, that 2 people died in this plane crash. Obviously, you can see there's a little fire. Firefighters had to get that out. And we know that they're securing this scene tonight. This is obviously from a person who was there very quickly with his cell phone getting this video. They're securing this scene tonight. The FAA from Baton Rouge is on the way to the scene, as well as a GO team for the NTSB on the way from Denver to investigate this crash. But I want to show you this picture. This is a New Orleans journalist. She has been a staple of the community there for the last 23 years. Her name is Nancy Parker. And tonight we've learned from WVUE, our station Fox 8 in New Orleans, as well as our Tegna affiliate WWL, that Nancy was on board this plane. She was there shooting a story at the Lakefront Airport with a stunt pilot. She was shooting her story on that plane when something tragically went wrong, and Nancy Parker, New Orleans staple in television and an incredible journalist, lost her life today. Gathering a story, obviously she was a morning anchor there, so you know it was probably going to be fun and featurey. Not sure if there was anyone else on the plane, but of course if you're familiar with stunt planes, they're usually pretty small, so it's usually just the pilot and one other person, but she was the other person on that plane today. And Nancy Parker of WVUE in New Orleans. She's a 20-year veteran. She spent some time in Alabama as well before her time in New Orleans, I know. And she lost her life.
This suspect on camera because of these real crime cameras in the area. He said that's going to help in this investigation. Something that was of note that 8th District Commander Nick
in New Orleans. I'll pull the audio back down for you. But they have a quote from WVUE here down their page, and I want to just read it to you so you can know a little bit more about Nancy. And they said here in that statement from Fox 8, obviously they are tragically shaken this afternoon or this evening. They said Nancy was an absolute joy to work with each and every day. The vice president, that is Tim Ingram, saying that today we lost a wonderful journalist, a remarkable friend. The New Orleans television community lost a treasure, but beyond that, her family lost a wife, a mother, a daughter, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. And certainly thoughts and prayers of the team here at KHOU in Houston are thinking of those at WVUE in New Orleans tonight, as well as Nancy's close family, her children, and her husband tonight. She was just out gathering a story to tell the people of New Orleans, and lost her life telling the story. So, incredible journalist gone tonight, and certainly we will have more on her coming up tonight on the news at 10.
Seemed to take a bit longer than it usually does. Oftentimes I do global entry, but these guys don't have it just yet, so we were waiting a bit longer than usual, and then it seemed to take a lot longer to process each person.
Did anybody explain what was going on? Or?
Not really. We overheard other people stating that the system was down like other passengers, and then when we got to the front we asked the gentleman and he said that yeah, it was down.
You have another flight to catch.
We do, yeah. We just got off a 16-hour flight, so
right.
We're pretty tired and crazy looking, but...
So how
Did you see this today? This was the scene at Bush Airport. Man, it took several hours to get through customs because there was a problem with the Customs and Border Protection's nationwide, I don't know why that came out weird, nationwide computer system. And it caused several hours delay, not only at the Bush Airport, but there were delays at Hobby, I understand, and we know at JFK and Dulles and DC, they both had delays. Heard of delays out at LAX in Los Angeles as well. So this was a crew that was out there for 6 o'clock. They were in the international terminal at Bush. They talked to people who they said they had been standing in line for more than 2 hours. CBP, they haven't said what caused the delays this afternoon or this evening. They did say their system is back up. We said that at 5 o'clock, that my live shot at 5, that they were working to get it fixed and that the problem at Bush had been resolved. Again, they don't think it was anything malicious that caused it to go down, but boy, certainly was a little bit of trouble for people trying to get back into the States this afternoon. So, you know, while they stood in line, there's certainly plenty of people, I bet, waiting on them to get out of the line, wondering what was going on, sitting outside in the car line. Thankfully, problem resolved. Everything is back to normal at both of our airports. Remember this video? We showed it to you last night. This was in the Tier Wester apartment complex parking lot. Here comes 18-year-old Giselle Vasquez. That's her. She's walking with an infant in her arms, one of her children. Right behind that, a nephew comes along a little bit later. And then about 110 feet, in this video it goes slow. You see the lady getting in this white Impala here? Well, here comes the nephew, 110 feet behind his mother. Here comes her 18-month-old little boy. Stops here in the parking lot, and you probably have already seen what happens next. This car backs up. The driver of this car looking behind her, and then we'll stop the video right there as we have the entire time. Don't want to show you the rest of it, but it is absolutely heartbreaking to see what happens next. This 18-month-old little boy lost his life in this parking lot, and today his mother, she was in court. She's out of jail on bond. She didn't say anything to our television cameras out in the hallway, while she was leaving court. She was obviously very emotional in her first appearance here, and that happened yesterday. She's been charged with felony count of endangering a child. The DA says they did that. The DA's office says they did that to make sure that her other children are safe. Obviously, there are a lot of people talking about this online, whether this mom could face any punishment that's already more serious than what she's already going through. There's also a lot of people asking why the driver of that car hasn't been charged. Adam Bennett, he was on this story today, and the DA's office told him that this case is still under investigation. Obviously, to charge the driver, they have to find some kind of intent, malicious intent, criminal intent, that this happened. Obviously, it looks like a tragic accident. An 18-month-old boy has lost his life in this. So this is the mom leaving court this morning. Again, she got her bond conditions. I believe one of them is that she has to have supervised visits with her other children. But absolutely heartbreaking story out of the Third Ward. We've been following this since Wednesday. Another big story, if you're going anywhere this weekend, take a live look right here. This is 69 at Newcastle, and that is the East Loop right on the other side. And if you remember, what was it, last week, the week before? It was a mess over there, and that was because they shut down the outbound lanes. And while I'm talking about this, I'm going to try to get some of your comments going here in the background. Just give me just a quick second to do it. Yeah, so they're going to shut this down again. It's going to be closed through the weekend all the way until, well, they say 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday, but last time they said that, they opened it a little bit earlier. So hopefully that will be the case again. Still trying to get your comments going so I can scroll them on the bottom of the screen. Guess that's not going to work with us tonight. Anyway, so if you're traveling along the Southwest Freeway this weekend, I pulled up this map to show you what's going to happen. So if you're unfamiliar with the area, welcome to Houston. Southwest Freeway going out of the city heads this way, right? So here is the Southwest Freeway. In order to get around this bypass, which is going to close down this interchange going out of the city, you're going to have to go up 610, take a loop around in the Galleria. If you don't know about the Galleria traffic and you're new to Houston watching this feed, or you're from out of town watching this, we have some of the worst traffic ever in Houston. I can tell you, I'm stuck in it almost every day. You're going to have to turn around in the Galleria, get back on the loop, come back down here, and then that's how you're going to get around this closure. It is an absolute headache. We're working on some expansion here. Tech Stock's creating better ramps, they say, to make traffic better, they say. Over on the west side, they say. So that's going to be the detour of the weekend, a traffic headache on the Southwest Freeway. Last time this happened, I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and traffic was backed up on the Southwest Freeway for miles. Now, my favorite story of the day.
Impacts from Barry and light northeast breeze and staying hot. We'll take a closer look at the storm, what they're expecting wind-wise and rain-wise. We'll talk about travel coming up here in a couple of minutes.
A lot of important things to cover. Thank you, Dave. Brett Buffington continues her team coverage. He is live from New Orleans.
Brett, I know a lot of concerns David mentioned about the levees. What else can you tell us?
I begged Lizzo on Twitter twice to come visit the station.
Elected officials here in a press conference in just the last 30 minutes seemed sort of relieved, if you will.
So you don't have to listen to the audio come in with it. But you can see Lizzo, she came to visit UH today. She was there. It's part of Spirit Week there. I don't know if that's what her visit was for. Obviously, she is a Cougar alumni. And went there. She was out on this, out at the stadium, and then also made a visit to the band room. So going to pop into my actual Facebook now and see if I can pull up any of your comments that go along with this. If there's any questions. Oh, well, let's turn that down. All right. So, yes, lots of people with their prayers for Nancy, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are with her as well. But again, what's better than Lizzo coming to visit here tonight? That's a good way to end some sad news, some happy news in there. But again, it's been a great week here in Houston. Please, if you have time in your prayers tonight, keep that Fox 8 family, keep Nancy Parker's family in your prayers. Obviously a tragic loss in New Orleans there. So with that, I hope you join us for KHOU 11 News at 10. Always the latest news on KHOU.com and here on all of our digital platforms. Happy Friday night. And if you don't have weekend plans, it seems like right now might be a good time to make them.